Oh, and this is my good friend Gary Barnes. Welcome, Gary.
Well, hi, Ted. Yeah, it's always good. We go back quite a ways.
Oh, over a decade now.
Yep, and we have some stories. We won't share here, but we do have some stories. We shared some of those stories on stage, but yeah, today's not the day.
Not today. So today we're going to talk about three keys to business success. So what are the three keys?
Over the years, building my own businesses, I should say, to a high level quickly, I started looking at what are all the techniques, the tools, all of the things that most of us have looked for as that magic pill, that secret formula, that everything that we read and copy, that this is now it, and it's going to somehow we win the lottery, and if we just do these things. But what I started looking at is what are the basic elements for success in any business. And as I've coached clients now in 8 different countries and throughout the US, it's really solidified that these are the three things that really is the foundational elements that will lead to success truly in any business. The only thing I don't know is the gestation period, or that time when you plant a seed and you get that result, you get that harvest. And so the first one is to be seen. And this sounds like a real basic, it's almost like, well, yeah, breathe. But most people are really reluctant to be seen. And there's a lot of different reasons for it. Some of the beliefs that have been uncovered, that in fact, some of these are ones that I had as well, is not deserving. And then the more we're seeing, the more people can shoot at us. In fact, I was listening to a talk radio program on the way into the office today, and they were talking about being a radio host. And these guys had been on the radio for over 30 years. And I go, that really, it comes with a territory that people will not like you. Some
Yeah.
people will love you, some people, but there will always be somebody out there that is going to snipe at you. But there's the that adage, build it and they will come,
Mhm.
is truly a lie. We have to be seen in order for our perfect client to see us as their perfect solution. And doing it in video, like what we're doing here, a lot of people are really, really scared and being afraid of what we're doing. And what we were just talking about this is, hey, what you see is what you get.
Right. It's so easy to be seen now with YouTube and the LinkedIn Live, Facebook Lives, and these cameras. It's so easy.
Well, and the really good news is most of it is there's virtually no cost. There's a little investment if you're wanting to upgrade in a little bit of sound. And like you said, the cameras we have, but the cameras I started out, and it was just recent that I had gone to a higher end technology, and that's always fun. But the cameras in your computer, the camera that's in your phone, is better than a lot of the 35 millimeter, what was SLRs, thing, whatever those were, those automatic Canons and Nikons back in the day. And so there is absolutely no reason for us not to go out and just showcase who we are. And part of it is I teach a concept around becoming a celebrity. And I ask, are you a celebrity? And most people say no. But here's my definition: how are you different from, not better than? And by showcasing the benefit of what you provide, what are the pain points you solve? And really taking the stance that you are the subject, but not the message. But the subject is what is the pattern interrupt. They're going to see you as being different because there are people out there doing the same thing you and I are doing. And so, why would somebody want to invest the most valuable asset that I believe anybody has, their time, in watching us, hearing us, following us, engaging with us?
When I spoke at your event last February at the boot camp, I did a search for coaches on LinkedIn. There was 2.3 million coaches last February. Last week
And
there was over 6 million coaches. So like I say, you got to be different than the other 6 million coaches if you're a coach.
and I followed this over the years as well, is when the economy changes, is you'll see people that will go from being a realtor to a mortgage broker or to insurance or to a coach. And people just kind of follow what they think is the fastest way to the cash for them. And so, yes, the whole key here with being seen when there's so many, 6 million, I didn't know that, but 6 million people, we don't want to turn into a politician where we're talking about, hire me, I'm better than because that guy's a jerk.
Right.
And no, just showcase who you are, elevate and separate in a positive way, because your perfect client will see that as being unique and you will become what I call a people magnet. People will really seek you out. And it's about timing. But if we're planting enough seeds, if we're putting enough activity in, because activity is the only thing that we can control, we cannot control the results. Unfortunately, we have been taught to focus on results. Now, that's not to say not to have goals. We want to know when we win and why we're doing what we're doing. But the key here is taking your mindset, your focus off the result, the money, which is most of the time the basic focus that you're working with within your business, but on serving, because we're no longer selling, we're serving.
People want to do business with you because of your personality and your expertise, and it really comes down to the personality, and you resonate with people.
Yes. Well, the people that you and I have had follow us for years and years. I have had one of my long-term clients call me a couple of years ago, and she said, "I want to go to this other program. Is that okay with you?" And I'm going, "Why are you asking?" And people say, "Well, it's your people." Well, no, they're not my people. These are individuals that have chosen to follow us, and it's a privilege and an honor to have that happen. But in order to have that happen, it's really about providing extreme value, that content driven, and allowing them to connect with us at whatever level and at whatever time that's right for them.
Yeah. Okay. So number one is be seen.
Be
What's number
seen.
two?
Number two is going to sound a little strange to a lot of people, and it's to be safe. Being safe is what it means to me is connecting without an agenda. When I meet with someone, I just really want to know their story. I want to know who they are, what they've done, their background, their family. I just want to know them as another human being. I have really put my arms around a saying from Will Rogers from the day. And it was, "There are no strangers, just friends that I have not met yet." And when I look at it that way, I'm not out there converting. I'm not out there, I'm going to go fishing, go get me one. It's truly about going out and building relationships. But it was about 15, 20 years ago, the concept of relationship selling really started becoming big in the marketplace. And it's disappeared a little bit because I think people didn't understand what that really meant. What they interpreted that to be is, I'm going to find out information about you and then use it against you to get you to do what I want you to do when I want you to do it. And so it was a very big manipulation. But when you really open up and again be safe, where you're just wanting to hear them, and people are not used to being listened to. And it's so cool. I've been on airplanes where it'd be a 2 or 3 hour flight, and I'll start a conversation. And literally, I may have said 2 or 3 sentences throughout the entire flight. And we get up to leave, and they turn to me and they go, "You're such a great conversationalist." And I was just listening. And it's such a unique thing because you really can meet some really, really interesting people. That doesn't mean that we don't ask for the business or we don't show people how to connect with us. But that is not the primary side of it. And I have literally taken away the word from me of selling to sharing. It's the same. If we think about a brick and mortar company or a business, they go in, unlock the door, turn the lights on, and showcase the benefits of what's inside that store.
Mhm.
Why aren't we doing that in all businesses? They don't have somebody like in the olden days in the carnivals where the guy's out in front barking, "Come on in, see the bearded two-headed goat," whatever. It's truly this showcase so that the person, when they see that benefit that you're showcasing and allowing them to see that you have something that they may want, now they're going to come to you. They're going to walk through the door. But we have got to open the door for that to happen. But to be safe is really a fun thing because it really keys into what I talked about earlier is about timing. is that we want to be in the timing of the people that we connect with, whether it's now, later, or never. And the only thing we know is the laters and the nevers, we have no idea who they are. We just know they're not a now. So the idea of converting and how to do that is totally foreign to me. I don't teach it. It's really about, you know, being there, being genuine, being authentic, and being very clear about the benefits of what you have for your audience.
Yeah, some days I don't feel safe when I log on to LinkedIn. It's like I feel like I'm being hunted. Like,
Uh, I actually had right at the end of the year someone that I know, and I know this was a program that they did because I got 14,000 type of messages, all virtually the same. But the message was, I know you had a horrible 2020 and didn't get the results you were looking for. Do you want to call me and see? I had a pretty good year in 2020. Yeah, it was difficult. We had to do things a lot differently.
yeah,
But the reality was, I was pretty happy with 2020. And outside of other diversions. But you said the genuineness, you look at LinkedIn. I get this every day. Every day I open up LinkedIn and I think of you because I look at your profile and I see that we have connections. Or I look at your profile and it's all the same exact words. And I'm going, or I'll connect with somebody and I do like what you do. I will send a little note and a message over and have it come back and they'll say, well, what do you do? Tell me about you. I go, you asked me to connect. Didn't you look at my profile? And there's silence
yeah.
on the Zoom. It's like, okay, you just told me it was a program and it's all about you. And most of the time it doesn't go anywhere from that.
It's like the fire hose of spray enough water, I might get a client.
Well, I use gold mining a lot of times as an analogy because for the modern gold miners, they have to go through a lot of dirt to find the few ounces. And back in the day when they were doing, there was the hose monitor, or they would have a big water cannon and just dissolve a hill.
Mhm.
And that's what it reminds me of when people are doing that on LinkedIn and Facebook and all of the rest of it. It's about numbers. And it's not about numbers, it's about quality. In fact, I was just on a summit, and most summits have a requirement of 5,000 names on your email list. I've never had 5,000 names on my email list. It usually runs between 3,500 and 4,000. I don't build it. It's just an organic thing that's out there. And they hear it. I go, I totally understand your rules. But inevitably, they come back to me and they go, we'd like to have you be on the program anyway. And I just finished one where 27 different speakers, I think it was 27, 26 or 27, and the host put out the rankings as far as connections back to the program. And out of 26, 27 people, I was number 3. And so it's truly not about quantity, it's quality. Now, I look for both. There's nothing wrong with having a lot of quantity as long as it is quality, but I go quality first.
Yeah, you can't have 100% quality and quantity. There's a balance. Okay, so be seen, be safe. What's number 3?
Number 3 is be relevant. And people I know right now are going, oh, of course, Gary. Well, yeah, everybody needs my product, my service. That's step 1. But step 2 is, does your perfect client desire your product or service right now? So are you ahead of the curve, behind the curve? Are you straight on that this is the perfect timing? There are so many things that you look at different products and services back in the day. The pet rock. I was really surprised a year or two ago when Geopet, that little ceramic thing that you put seeds on and grow, and it came back. As a new generation, they go, wow, that's cool. That go, oh, okay. But would it work today? So does your perfect client, desire it? The other question around that is, are you packaging it the way they want to receive it? Sometimes we just are using the wrong words. We're using the wrong delivery method. Our perfect client is many times opposite who we are. So you and I had a coach, both at the same time. That's how we got to know each other. and had a saying that things that would make you broke the fastest is two things. When you say, yeah, but I like it, and I think. Really, it's about listening. It's listening to your customer, your client that you're serving, and they will tell you how they want what it is that you're delivering. And so it's not only to that you have something that is needed, but is also desired. And so if you connect these three elements, I know you will be successful. And it sounds very basic, but I'll tell you, I've worked with startup companies, brand new people in any industries, all the way up to manufacturing firms, banks, established, well, national banks and international banks that you would know. They have, for the most part, all missed these three things. They have one or two or partial of all three. And when we really keyed in on how does this translate to their product service, their business model, they increased their results almost overnight. And it's really cool to see.
It's a lot like what you mentioned about the being irrelevant part when they say, "Hey, too bad you had a terrible year last year." It's like that's not relevant. Some people had
Yeah,
a great year. Some look at Zoom. Zoom had an incredible year.
oh, yeah, then some of us look at that and went, I should have seen that. Yeah, it just never occurred to me to go in and even invest $1,000 or whatever, it just play money. The it's about really, if you look at all three of those areas, truly, it's more about listening than anything else. If we're truly listening to society, if we're listening to our core client base, if we're listening to what is working, not working on social media, there are always new social media platforms that are coming and going and doing all this. There's flash. Some of them are going to last. There's no doubt about it. But where are you going to invest your time, money, and energy that is going to give you the biggest potential and really the probability of the return that you're wanting for that investment?
Right. So you don't want to dance on TikTok with me? Come on.
Oh, gee, I don't have a TikTok account. I just, it's, and it's good for some people in some industries, but it's also that if we're following the herd, we will never get seen.
Right.
So how do we do things even in some of these other elements that, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, a lot of people are just doing it wrong. The things that I love about you and why I have you come at the boot camp so many times is that LinkedIn is one of those things that is going to stay around. It just is. It's established itself, but it is always changing. This is where we start listening for things. I know that you had some real big results after one of the boot camps like 3 years ago. You got what, 200 and some views or something from one video? Or no,
103,000.
103,000, 200 and some, 103,000. But recently we were talking and you said that would have worked today. They changed it. And so we need to keep abreast and keep up with it. But it's the concept. I love the little adages. I have my Garyisms, but Jim Rohn talks about small hinges swings big doors.
Mm-hmm.
And so what are the tweaks? What are the things that we can change and know that that change had a direct influence on the result that we were looking for? And that's one of the really neat things about you is that it's not, hey, do this and you got a gazillion dollars in your mailbox the next day. And that's not what I preach and teach and never have. But that doesn't mean that large numbers with zeros and commas are created.
Gimmicks and hacks may get you short-term results, but they usually end up failing quickly because everybody does it.
Right. Yeah. I'll tell you a secret. My secret. Well, once you tell the secret, I think the real definition of secret is no longer applied. And yeah, it's that first in, they're going to get the results. But if we keep chasing, as I owned one of the largest financial planning firms over the years. I sold it 17 years ago. So everybody take a breath. I'm much happier now, by the way. But we used to talk about investing with mutual funds, and the big traders, by the time they moved the market with a mutual fund and the individual trader said, oh, that's a good idea, it had already shifted and you were going to get burnt on the backside. And so by the time the real wave has gone through, that doesn't mean don't do it, but again, go in with your eyes open and with a strategy that as things start to morph and change, you can change with it.
I remember hearing a story about that years ago. Somebody said, if a company gets on the cover of Forbes or Fortune or one of the big magazines, it's too late to invest in that company.
Yep. Well, you think about sports. You and I are sports guys. And the worst thing to do is get on the cover of Sports Illustrated, or you can guarantee that's not going to be where you want to be the next. And it's like, oh, I don't know what it is about that, but it is. Yeah, usually by the time something like that happens, it's already too late.
Yeah.
And it's like uh, some of the cryptocurrency. I almost said a name, but some of the cryptocurrency, is it a good investment? I don't know. I have personally chosen not to do it, but at certain levels, it is such a high number. Uh, what can you afford to lose?
Right.
And so some of this is also, again, like what you're doing in business and marketing. People think that marketing is doing like I do. You and I both do a lot of TV, radio interviews, things like that. And at my boot camp, I asked the question, what's the difference between PR and marketing? PR is truly just being on, I've been on all the networks, I've done TEDx, I've done PBS. That is PR because it's not intended to generate revenue, it's intended to give you exposure. Marketing is when you do something that you're expecting a direct financial result out of it. And people think that just because they spend money on certain things or they're going to get on TEDx or TED, that things are going to happen. It's like in the day, it was, oh, if I could only get on Oprah or only get on Ellen, then my life would be okay. Or on Shark Tank, we'll get on Shark Tank and we'll do, no, there's a lot of connections out there that once you do that, it gives you a little bit of celebrity, a little bit of credibility, but it really is about your personality, who you are, the genuineness. When I teach speakers to be speakers, I say, for me, I am the same on stage as I am off, and I know you are too. And we don't hide. We're there with the people. We're not prima donnas. It's just not our style. And so when people see that, the people that resonate with that will come towards us, to where some of the other ones that, and I don't see it as being wrong, a right or wrong scenario, but like my way is not the way, it's a way. Your way is not the way, it's a way. Because there's other people that train around LinkedIn. I just happen to resonate with you. And they, it's just, be you is really the key, but the application and stay in the game. The other thing is a lot of times people will do what we're talking about today. They'll put videos out, they'll talk to people, they'll build relationships, they will connect with authenticity within what they have as being relevant. And then they don't last because they don't stay in the game long enough.
Right.
And they think, well, it's not working. It's like back in the day with Facebook, they go, well, nobody's seeing my posts. I only get 4 or 5 posts. And I go, that doesn't mean no one's seeing you. It just means no one is pushing the button. And it's happened, over and over again, to where if you're just there long enough, you will get traction. You just got to stay in the game.
Exactly. That's great. So boot camp coming up this week. What number? 38, 39?
39. The 39th 3-day boot camp, breakthroughbusinessmastery.com. The event has morphed because it truly was an outflow of my not having enough time to deal with people. And I wanted to be able to expand it. And because of COVID in September, we added the virtual element because we had to. We could only put 50 people in the room. And in fact, we have gone back to what we can do this time for the January event is also 50 people in the room and then the virtual side. And so, going back, was 2020, good, bad, or indifferent? Well, we do things out of adversity. When things are going well, we don't have that creativity. We don't want to rock the boat. So the boot camp is coming up. It's number 39. We have people coming from all over the country. We have people, the international market has chosen because of flying, uh, coming in virtually. We have people in South Africa. We have people in the United Kingdom and India, right? Oh, and the Philippines. We have 4 different countries now. And because of COVID, you're speaking at the event, but you're coming in virtually this time. You're going to be coming in July, in person, and people are going to be able to, they just love you. But the boot camp is unique because I really believe that 80% of success in any business is psychological and emotional. It's staying in the game and how to do that. And so on Friday, I call it Foundation Day, and we go through all of the elements of how to really reprogram your brain for success. It's a mindset day. It's a lot of or not intricate, but very variations of how I teach. So we really get into the auditory, visual, and kinesthetic ways that we take in information. It's a very transformative day. It's a day that I can never take away because people that have gone through day one really see how they can build on that as the foundation. And in fact, Chris Nansky is an 8th degree Taekwondo champion, and he's been with me now a number of years. We've been friends for longer than that. But we do a board break in person. So you're not going to be able to do the board break, Ted, this time because it is virtual. But the folks that are in person are actually going to do the board break. And then on Saturday and Sunday is all of the techniques, strategies, and systems that I've created that I have used and still use in my businesses. And the unique thing is that all of these programs and what I teach on those 2 days is proprietary because I've created them, but it's not subjects that I've created. So we go through time management, we go branding and marketing, we go how to speak, how to connect, all of the different things that, and like on Saturday, you'll be speaking on the new areas of LinkedIn as well. Um, so the day 2 and 3 is the structure that we lay on top of the foundation. And what I look for, this is very content driven. My belief is I want the program and what it has become that if someone comes and we never see each other again, but for the time that they've invested in time, money, and energy to be there for those 3 days, and by the way, they go very fast. Then on Monday morning they can implement those areas that they have seen that connect for them and make a difference in their business. It's not a dog and pony show where every 90 minutes there's another $10,000 offer that you and I have grown up with, but it's high content, high value, and it's something that we really and I enjoy doing. I speak for over 24 hours over the 3 days. So I'm a tired individual by the time it's over.
You
But
don't look tired a bit. It's amazing how much time you're on stage. It's an
my
amazing
my commitment is I leave everything at the boot camp.
event.
I don't hold back. I don't take breaks. I go back into the back of the room. People are talking to me on break, and I have to ask permission. Can I get to the bathroom? And all those nice things. But it really is interactive, and because it's virtual, we are doing interactive breakout rooms. Everyone that invests in a ticket is also, you get a coaching session with me that is truly a coaching session. It's 25 minutes. But we talk about anything that is on that person's mind. It's not a commercial. It's truly a give back. So it's, you know, the virtual, we only have 10 tickets, 8 or 9 or 10 tickets left for the in person. But the virtual, obviously, we can put more people in. And it's a great place to network. people have really built a family, and that's when people are not able to come. They go. That's one of the things they miss most is reconnecting with those relationships that are built at the event.
Yeah. No, it's an amazing event and it's ridiculously cheap,
Inexpensive,
inexpensive.
high value. Yeah, for the virtual. Oh golly, I'm spacing in my head. It's online, but I believe it's 197 and 297 for. Uh, I don't know whatever it is on the landing page.
Breakthroughbusinessmastery.com, and the event's in Denver.
The event's in Denver. It's not too far from the airport, so it's easy to get here from there. So it's sorry that I didn't know the number. I should know that, but I'm 4 days out from the boot camp, and as I told somebody last night, every time something comes into my brain, something falls out. So it's kind of normal
time.
this time of year. Yes, it's crunch time. It's always, some people think that, well, number one, I've done it 39 times, so it must be like falling off, getting out of bed. But there's things that are always changing, and it just, you're always putting out fires. And two, it speaking for that long can't be that hard. That tells me they've never spoken.
Yeah.
And but I do enjoy it, and the thing that I enjoy most about it is people are what I call the light bulb goes on, and people are connecting the dots, and that will change their business, their lives, their families. And again, I hope they come back, or I hope at some point we might engage. But at the very basic level is that I want to make a difference in their life right now.
I've been to, I think, 7 boot camps, and every time I go, I get something new. The material is not that much different, but when you're ready to hear certain things, it just happens.
I remember, again, being in a room of our previous coach together, and the person sitting next to me, I slapped the table. I went, "Oh, that's it." And they looked at me like I had 3 heads. And I went, "Did they say that before?" Every single time. But I hadn't heard it. I had gone to 29 of his boot camps in a row. And people were going, "Was he that bad of a teacher, or were you slow?" And it's not either one. It's what you're talking about, is that every time you come, you're in a different place. You're hearing different things. And yeah, I change it up. I'm an expressive driver, so I'm always doing some things new. And there's new things at this one. But it's really about the truth is the truth, and the basics are the basics. So I'm not looking for that new widget necessarily. I'm looking at how to use what we have, and having some of the new tools that are out there. But it's not wholesaling, changing everything that we're doing. And, oh, well, that's what I thought we should do. Now we're going to do this. And I think that really hurts people, because they don't know why they're changing, or what the real benefit is. And sometimes they don't survive that. So yeah, it's and then it really, there were times that client or participants have come to me. They go, "This is one of the strangest events that I've ever gone to, because on Friday the room comes in as a community, on Saturday, or no, as a group. On Saturday they're a community, and on Sunday they leave as a family." And it's not something I ever designed consciously. It was just the framework of what we do and how we do it that allows that to happen.
Awesome, Gary. The boot camps this week, Breakthrough Business Mastery Boot Camp.
January 29, 30, and 31. And we also are doing, again, the Thursday evening on the 28th from 6 to 8 p.m. here in Denver. We're going to be live streaming on Facebook. 3 speakers, and Ted, you're one of them. And so that is a free event. So if you would like to, just connect for that, it's on my Gary Barnes personal Facebook page that we'll be streaming to. And it'll just be a Facebook Live, and come join us for that. You're more than welcome.
Great. Thank you so much, Gary. Can't wait to see you this weekend.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you soon, Ted. Thanks for